Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes. No actual box today, but instead a magazine that focuses on amazing board games that do come in boxes. Plus, it's a magazine that in fact does indeed come with an actual full game that you can play, with everything you need included. Now, if that does not tickle your gaming taste buds, I do not know what will. So today I'm taking a look at the 30th anniversary issue of RBM Studios C3i Magazine, issue number 36. This is the latest issue of the magazine that came out at the beginning of the year and is absolutely chock full of articles all about the fascinating wargaming side of our wonderful board game hobby. C3i Magazine was founded in 1992 by Roger B. McGowan and has been supporting new and upcoming releases from GMT games, as well as serving as a chronicle of the history and contributions of other game companies like Avalon Hill, SPI and Game Designers Workshop, to name just a few. The magazine features interviews with major designers and gamers within the hobby and has been a forum for discussing how board games are designed and developed, showcasing numerous insights into how to play and think about board games, as well as detailed explanations of the historical backgrounds of the games. Typically released on an annual basis, each print issue of C3i Magazine is filled with articles on this great hobby, covering topics ranging from ancient history to modern warfare and beyond, and also comes with various inserts that serve as expansions or corrections for existing board game products. Plus, and this really is a big deal in my opinion, is the fact that C3i Magazine includes a whole standalone board game for you to play and enjoy. In short, over the many years, these magazines have been an absolute treasure trove for board game fans across the world, and I, for one, have been enjoying them for well over 12 years now, eagerly waiting for and snuffling each issue as it comes out. Roger from RBM Studios very kindly sent me a copy of this issue, so I've been able to enjoy reading it all over again as I take a Fun with Boxes look at issue number 36, the 2022 30th anniversary issue of the glorious C3i Magazine. Okay, let's take a look at what's inside this 30th anniversary issue of C3i Magazine. As always, we open with From the Editor's Desk by Roger and Stephen McGowan, and this is followed by the 13th instalment now of Mark Herman's Cleo's Corner, called Wargame CRTs or How to Resolve Chaos. This is an absolutely fascinating and highly detailed look at combat results tables, known as CRTs in wargaming. And for me, well, this was worth the price of the magazine just on its own. This is followed by Jason Matthews' historical article looking at what happened when the world powers suddenly extended their rivalry to the Horn of Africa in his game Twilight Struggle, Red Sea, the Horn of Africa. Next, we have a brilliant interview with Randall C. Reed, who was Avalon Hill's first gaming employee, who designed the company's first sci-fi and man-to-man level game, as well as its first and only monster-sized game. Rules as Written is the third article by Harold Buchanan's Snakes and Ladders series, where Harold looks at playing games by the rules as written, or, as he puts it, house ruling the hell out of anything he plays. Next up, we have an article about Herman Lutman's Blind Sword system by Steve Carey, highlighting the game A Great Victory, The Battle of the South Mountain, published by Revolution Games. Steve thinks that the Blind Sword system could be the best American Civil War system he has encountered, so my curiosity here is quite piqued. To tie in with that article, Taking on Perryville follows by Jeff Grossman, a historical article discussing the Battle of Perryville. And next we have a huge article by Mark Herman, The Month of Infamy, the Japanese opening attacks in his epic game Pacific War. This is a huge 18-page detailed article with a number of sub-articles that again really is worth the price of the magazine just for this. Next up we have a C3i game preview of Dan Fornini's Beatus Campaign 211 BC, which is a preview of the next C3i Magazine game based on Mark Herman's Waterloo campaign from issue number 33. I really cannot wait for the next issue to get my little paws on that game, I must admit. Next we have an interview with award-winning artist Charlie Kibler, who I was delighted to find out did the artwork on a number of Advanced Squad Leader historical modules. Following this we have An Ocean Apart, Wargaming in the Land of Eurogames by Riccardo Massini, where Riccardo looks back at the first glorious days of the hobby, in particular to a game that started out as a war game and turned into a little known Eurogame now called Catan. I believe it was originally called Settlers of Catan. You may have heard of it. Wink, wink. Next we have an article by Andy Newes about his 40 years with Mark McLachlan, called From War and Peace to the Napoleonic Wars. And then a very interesting article by James Buckley called War Games, Simulation or Stimulation, where James asks us to consider if the way we frame war gamers creates barriers to entry to the hobby. And following this, we have a report from SDHistCon 2022 by Trevor Bender. That's a report from the San Diego Historical Gaming Convention that was held between the 11th and 13th of November 2022. Finishing off this issue, we have an in memory of the historian and game designer John Prado by Lenny Glynn, and an article about the revival of the Charles S. Roberts Awards, the oldest and most prestigious awards recognising excellence in conflict simulation gaming, by Gary Mingle. Well, that covers the magazine itself, but with C3i Magazine there is always so much more. First, let's take a look at the inserts. There's the counter sheet, which has the 80 markers and counters for the full game included with the magazine, along with 40 counters for the SPQR game variant and new and corrected counters for Mark Herman's Pacific War. There is the 12-page booklet for the SPQR variant, plus the charts and aforementioned counters. And then there is the Desert Victory North Africa 1940 to 1942 full RBM Studio game by Trevor Bender. There's the 16-page game rulebook, game map sheet, player aid cards, and of course the counters to play the game. Well, as I said, with my recent look at issue 35, I'm sure you will agree that's one heck of a magazine, and more than worth the cost of entry, as it were. I would highly recommend picking up this issue, or in fact any issue of C3i Magazine, and you can rest assured that you will be in for a treat. I will pop a link in the comments section below for anyone interested in picking up a copy direct from RBM Studios, and for some more information on C3i Magazine and other products they may have available. Well, there you have it, C3i Magazine. Go grab a copy today. If you're interested, please check out my video where I take a look at issue 35 of C3i Magazine, and also my video where I take a look at one of RBM Studios' box deluxe versions of a C3i Magazine game. And that's Mark Herman's wonderful introductory war game, Gettysburg. I hope to put out a how to play video for Gettysburg in the near future, so please keep an eye out for that. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and click that old subscribe button. And do not forget that our friendly local game store, Rules of Play, based in Cardiff and Bristol, have a special 10% off online orders discount code just for Fun with Boxes viewers. The code is on screen, and a link to Rules of Play is in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, and please take care.